The movie begins on April 18th, 2003, in a small town called Sweetly. A teenage girl named Summer arrives at a high school party held in an old barn. At the entrance, she meets her nerdy classmate, Quinn, who is holding a red envelope. Quinn notices Summer looks distressed. She explains that she recently lost her best friend, Emmy, and admits she only came to the party because she's scared to be home alone with a serial killer still on the loose. Quinn tries to give her the envelope, but Summer's ex, Ethan, interrupts and pulls her away. Later, Ethan gathers everyone at the party and makes a toast to their late friends, Val, Brian, and Emmy, who are all victims of a serial killer known as the Sweetly Slasher. Ethan reveals the party is dedicated to their memory. Summer feels uneasy. She wonders how people can party after such a tragedy, especially since she misses Emmy deeply. As if things couldn't get worse, Ethan spills his drink on Summer's clothes. Annoyed, she heads to the bathroom to clean up. While she's in the bathroom, the police arrive and break up the party, enforcing a late-night curfew due to the recent murders. Summer, unaware of the commotion, leaves the bathroom and tries to find a way out. However, she gets trapped behind a fence as the killer starts chasing her. With nowhere else to go, she runs to a nearby shed to hide. Unfortunately, her belt jingles, alerting the killer to her location. The scene then cuts to 21 years later, in 2024. We meet Lucy, Summer's younger sister, born after her tragic death. Lucy explains how the Sweetly Slasher went on a 3-day killing spree from April 16th to April 18th, 2003, and was never caught. Her family has never moved on, remaining stuck in the past. Lucy feels like she was born to fill the void left by Summer. In the next scene, Lucy enters her sister's room, which has been preserved exactly as it was 21 years ago. She hears a creak in the floorboards and discovers several hidden letters. One of them contains a warning to Summer, signed by someone named E. Just as Lucy examines it, her mom enters the room, and Lucy quickly hides the letter. The family later visits the barn where Summer died, now a memorial site. While there, Lucy claims she forgot her gift for Summer in the car and walks away. When she gets to the car, she hears a loud noise coming from a nearby shed. Curious, she investigates and finds a strange machine emitting a beeping sound. When Lucy touches the machine screen, it sets itself to April 16th, 2003. Suddenly, lasers shoot out, creating a portal. Lucy is briefly affected by the portal before everything seemingly returns to normal. But when she steps outside, she notices her surroundings have changed. The barn is no longer abandoned, the memorial is gone, and her parents are nowhere to be found. Realizing something is wrong, Lucy discovers that she has traveled back in time to 2003. Panicked, she heads to her school, Sweetly High, where she notices everyone is dressed differently and using old devices. To her shock, she sees her sister, Summer, alive and chatting with her friends, Brian and Val. Lucy also notices Ethan trying to win Summer back after their recent breakup, but Summer brushes him off. Confused and desperate for answers, Lucy approaches her physics teacher and asks about time travel. He redirects her to Quinn, the class physics genius. Quinn explains that time travel is dangerous and could cause a ripple effect with devastating consequences. Later, Lucy witnesses Ethan and his friends bullying Quinn by dragging him to a nearby river. It's a cruel senior tradition where they throw someone into the water. The entire school watches and laughs. Summer is among them, visibly uncomfortable but unwilling to intervene. Lucy, however, steps in and stops the bullies just as a teacher arrives to break up the scene. Quinn, embarrassed, tells Lucy he doesn't need her help. She insists they need to talk, revealing that she's from the future. To prove it, she shows him her smartphone. Lucy then explains that the Sweetly Slasher will kill her sister on April 18th, and she's determined to stop it. Despite Quinn's warnings about the risks of altering the past, Lucy is adamant about saving Summer. Together, they move the mysterious time machine to Quinn's garage for further study. They learn it was developed by a company called SONR, where Lucy's dad works. Lucy believes they need a special canister to power the machine and return her to the present. Meanwhile, Summer is seen arguing with her best friend, Emmy, who seems upset. Summer tries to patch things up, but Emmy brushes her off. Lucy realizes it's April 16th, meaning there's still time to save her sister and prevent the killings. Lucy decides to steal her dad's keycard to access the SONR facility. Quinn is shocked when he realizes Lucy is Summer's sister, warning her not to interact with her family. However, Lucy insists it's the only way to fix everything. Later, Lucy meets Summer. Summer takes Lucy home, introducing her to their parents. During dinner, Lucy compliments her mom's cooking and learns that it's a daily tradition between Summer and their mom, a tradition that doesn't exist in the future. Lucy feels a pang of guilt but focuses on her mission. However, Lucy remembers that Brian and Val will die at the mall that very day, and she becomes determined to stop it. Realizing there's only half an hour left, Lucy abruptly leaves the house. She arrives at the mall with only 5 minutes to spare before it closes. Meanwhile, Val is in a changing room, trying on dresses, while Brian waits outside, clearly bored. Lucy spots Quinn, who works at the mall, and urgently asks if he's seen Val and Brian. Quinn reveals he overheard them talking about heading to the 3rd floor. At the same time, Brian, playing with toys to kill time, accidentally drops a CD. As he bends down to pick it up, the Sweetly killer appears and stabs him in the neck. Moments later, Val emerges from the changing room, horrified to find Brian's lifeless body. The killer then turns his attention to her. Val tries her best to escape, but the killer pursues her relentlessly. Just as Val reaches the escalator, Lucy arrives to help. The two girls manage to flee together, but tragedy strikes when Val trips and falls on the escalator. This gives the killer an opportunity to brutally smash her head against the escalator, killing her instantly. Lucy screams for help, which alerts a nearby security guard. However, the Sweetly killer swiftly eliminates him before disappearing from the mall. In the aftermath of the attack, Lucy and Quinn retreat to his house, where he lets her stay the night. Distraught, Lucy reveals that the security guard wasn't supposed to die and admits she feels like she's only made things worse by interfering. Quinn asks if the killer was ever caught in the future. Lucy sadly replies that he wasn't, further fueling her guilt. She resolves not to meddle anymore and decides to return to 2024. The next morning, Lucy wakes up early and sneaks into her house to look for her dad's keycard. Unfortunately, she's caught by Summer, who confronts her. Summer demands to know why Lucy left for the mall the previous night, especially now that her friends are dead. With no other choice, Lucy reveals the truth. She's Summer's sister and has come from the future. As expected, Summer finds this claim absurd. To prove it, Lucy shows her the letter from Ethan, saying Summer will find it under the floorboards in 21 years. However, Summer insists she's never seen the letter before. Frustrated, Lucy leaves without explaining further. Lucy heads back to Quinn's place, where they continue working on the time machine. Meanwhile, at school, Summer opens her locker and is shocked to find a letter identical to the one Lucy showed her. Realizing Lucy's story might be true, elsewhere, Lucy and Quinn discover the key to activating the time machine. Two elements must interact to create a time travel effect: Particle A, which is a laser beam, and Particle B, which is antimatter. While Particle A is already part of the time machine, they need to obtain the antimatter to make it work again. As the duo works on their plan, Summer shows up unexpectedly. She tells Lucy she now believes her story and asks what her future looks like. Wanting to protect her sister's hope, Lucy lies, saying Summer will have a wonderful life, a great job, and a handsome husband. Summer asks if the killer was ever caught, but Lucy reveals that they weren't. Shocked, Summer asks who will die next, to which Lucy reluctantly responds, Emmy. Hearing this, Summer panics and insists they must stop it at any cost. Lucy argues that they can't change the past without making things worse, but when Summer persists, Quinn, who has a crush on Summer, suddenly agrees. The trio arm themselves with weapons and head to the Marine Museum, where Emmy works the night shift. They try calling her office multiple times, but Emmy doesn't hear them because she's wearing headphones while cleaning. When they arrive at the museum, they can't find her anywhere, so they decide to split up. Meanwhile, the killer arrives outside. Later, while Emmy is cleaning alone, Summer notices the killer nearby. She signals Emmy to watch out, prompting her to run. Summer helps Emmy escape as the killer breaks through the door. Hearing the commotion, Quinn and Lucy join them, and together, the group manages to get away. Back home, while chatting with Summer, Lucy learns that the letter signed E wasn't from Ethan but from Emmy. Summer then reveals that she and Emmy are actually lovers. She admits they had planned to come out to their parents together, but she backed out at the last moment, upsetting Emmy. The next morning, Lucy casually asks her parents if they ever considered having more children. They laugh and say they didn't, as Summer was enough for them. Their response saddens Lucy, as she realizes that if Summer survives, she might no longer exist in the future. Determined to save her sister, Lucy steals her dad's keycard and meets with Summer. She eventually reveals that Summer's death led to her own existence, but confesses she's willing to save her sister regardless. Lucy explains how she always felt like a replacement for Summer and shares the pain of her childhood. Hearing this, Summer feels terrible, realizing how deeply her death affected her family. Lucy then outlines a plan and asks for Summer's trust. That evening, Lucy and Quinn sneak into the SONR facility, while Summer goes to the barn party, where she's supposed to die. After some time at the party, Summer steps outside and encounters the killer, who begins chasing her. Meanwhile, Lucy and Quinn use her dad's card to enter the facility. Inside, they discover a dead security guard and realize that one of the antimatter canisters is missing. They deduce the killer must also be from the future and the creator of the time machine. Despite this, they take another canister and leave. Elsewhere, Summer hides in a shed as the killer closes in. Just as he's about to murder her, Lucy and Quinn arrive in a van and run him over. Lucy quickly ushers Summer inside the van. However, as they prepare to leave, the killer gets up. He removes his mask, revealing himself to be an older Quinn from the future. The teens race back to Quinn's garage, where the time machine is located. Inside, Lucy tries to activate the time machine with the antimatter. The killer Quinn breaks in, revealing his grudge. He recounts how his life was ruined after being thrown into a river and mocked by Summer in his timeline. Though the teens insist it never happened, the killer believes it did. Fueled by years of resentment, he built the time machine to murder Summer and her friends before disappearing into time. As the time machine becomes fully charged, young Quinn takes Summer outside while Lucy transports Psycho Quinn to a different point in the future. They land in a parking garage, where they engage in a brutal fight. Psycho Quinn lunges at Lucy with a knife, but she manages to electrocute him with a car charger. As he lies unconscious, Lucy notices the time machine has powered off. She spots a canister of antimatter in Psycho Quinn's pocket, but as she reaches for it, he wakes up. Acting quickly, Lucy grabs the knife and fatally stabs him in the chest. In the final scene, the story returns to 2003, where Summer and young Quinn discuss how much they'll miss Lucy. Suddenly, Lucy appears behind them, having used the antimatter to time travel back. She reveals that when she returned to 2024, her parents didn't recognize her. Lucy decides to stay in 2003, where she can have the normal family she's always wanted, along with her sister and best friend, Quinn. The movie concludes with Lucy happily living with her parents, sister, and Quinn. So that's it. Hope you enjoy the story. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more videos.